Okay. Alright guys, so welcome back. We are back doing some more Satisfactory. Today we have been building the refineries here. We have literally gutted and removed this room 2 times. We had it built, then we removed, and then rebuilt, removed, and rebuilt another time. I think I'm gonna lock in. This is what This is what I want right here. My wall does not want to be corporeal right now. Okay, so I want to close this, what do you call it, this roof, but instead of doing that, I want to leave it open, that way I can actually come back and forth, because here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go back and forth between each segment. I'm going to keep trying to, you know, do my thing. Okay, let's see if we can start the other refinery units. Now, this is going to take a long time, but I feel like in the end, it's going to be so worth it. I think first of all, what we should do, of course, we have like the level of what it needs to be at. So I think we need to scooch this and clip it to the wall, first of all. Okay, now we need to move it this way, but we need to make, actually I know how to do this. We just gotta make it where the, those, like, yeah, right, like right here. Where these are flush perfectly. Yeah, oh, okay, enough of that. And we need to do this like that. And that should be good right there. And before we start slamming these bitches down, we gotta actually, make sure that it's aligned correctly. And here we go. That should be correct. Now that is the very first amount, the first cell. Now, before we do any more work, I think we should go up here. Or like before we build any more refineries, I think we need to go up here, and we need to build the walls and shit, and the pillars. while we have space, because I was gonna build it later, but if we build it now, we have actual space we can work with, and you know, the more space I can work with, the better, obviously. Phew. Okay. Hello, viewer. Yeah, we're gonna build these pillars and get them out of the way. That way we actually have space to do this. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to build them by, I'm gonna build, I'm gonna build horizontally instead of up, and up, you know what I mean? So I'm just gonna keep stacking it instead of, you know, like, building one unit all the way up and then building another unit all the way up. That way I can actually go and cross-reference and stuff like that. Another thing we can do is we can actually go here and check. That's good. That's good. That's good. And that's good. Now we need to build these 7 tiles up. See, this isn't that difficult. It's honestly not difficult. It's just time consuming is what it is. Simple. The more ginormous pieces of machinery you build, the more time you're gonna have to sit your ass down and build it. Okay, now build out here. Yep, that's correct. Now let's build this metal pillar all the way up. And let's just do the, let's just do the part where we put the pillars on the bottom. Here's what I like to do. I'm going to build this over here, and then transmute this right here, or translate it, and there we go. It's perfectly aligned. Now I just use this. Of course, we're going to slide this bad boy down here. You know what? Honestly, I'm like, oh man, this is just the iron ingots. I can't imagine what it's going to be like to build a giant factory to scale the production of these ingots, like big things like rods. By the way, I am probably going to delete screws out of manufacturing. Let's see, try to get over the water from the refinery Wikipedia page. Let's see, copper ore. Turn it. Go then. You just have to click on the ingot, sheets, and rotors. So rotors, the only one that I can actually make with so I could use the steel rotor. The steel rotor needs 2 steel pipes and 6 wire. Now, with a single resource node, I have considered probably using the copper rotor recipe. Oh, do I have my phone? Yes, thank goodness I have my phone on me. So let's say, okay, 1,200 copper a minute divided by 6 times 15. We get 3,000 copper a minute for every pure node if we use the pure copper recipe. If we multiply this by 2, which is how many wires we can get 6,000 wire a minute. Now, if we divide this by 30 a minute and multiply by 5 a minute, we can generate 1,000 rotors. Now, by the way, I think if I actually used, or actually, hold on, with the copper, if we did, and we're going to use the pure recipe for the copper. So for the pure recipe, if we use the copper, and we get all the copper from a pure node, and then we refine it into wires. That's 5 Mark 6 belts full of wires, by the way. That's actually kind of crazy. But you can make 1,000 rotors a minute. Now, by the way, I did some math, and if we use, what do you call it? If we use the Caterium wire recipe for the stators, then we can, from a pure node of iron and a pure node of, let's see, what is it? Give me a second. Stators for steel pipes. Oh, from a and not including copper, or not including coal or iron nodes. From a pure node of copper and a pure node of Caterium, we can generate about 7,200 wire a minute, which is capable of producing 960 rotors a minute, or stators a minute. Now, let's say if we use the worst recipe, which I don't think I'm going to use rigger motors, because getting the production for, what do you call it, all those crystal oscillators is a huge pain in the ass. Like, the amount of crystals it requires to consume is absolutely enormous, and it is a burden I am not going to bear. Okay, that being said, so let's get back to the rotors. So if we use the copper recipe, turn all the copper into remember, we're using the pure recipe for copper. Turn it all on the wire, we can generate 1,000 rotors a minute. Now, if we use the worst motor recipe, which I'm considering doing because it's just simple, 2 rotors, 2 stators equals a motor equivalent. But let's take a pause. There's actually 3 ways to make motors. There's two motors, 2 rotors, 2 stators, and a motor. There's electromagnetic rod, and 2 rotors is 2 motors, so it deletes the stator recipe. And then finally, we got 3 rotors, 3 stators, and 1 crystal oscillator equals 6 motors. This is the best recipe for most amount of motors per stators and rotors. My god, I'm saying stators and rotors and motors. My Dr. Seuss sounding head ass. Anyway. I'm gonna keep it real with you, chat. Making crystal oscillators is like hemorrhoids. They're a pain in the ass that it's really difficult to get rid of. Anyway. That being said, I don't think we're gonna go for rigger motor recipe, because honestly, that's just I don't think I can do it. I just don't. If you really break down logistics, the crystals recipe for it is an absolute nightmare. Okay. Now okay, how about electromagnetic control rods? Okay. Actually pops, right? So we need 2 rotors, 2 stators for a motor if we're going to use the traditional recipe. So for 2 stators for a motor. So if I use 1 electromagnetic control rod, it takes either 3 stators for 2. Just give me a second. Okay, so it's a 2 to 1. So it's a half to 1 ratio. So 2 stators, 1 motor for the traditional motor. Now, for electromagnetic control rod to make okay, so I got 2 options. I could use 3 stators to make 2 rods, or I could make 2 to 2. Okay, so let's say if I had the worst ratio, right? 3 stators, and it needs 2 AI limiters. That makes 2 rods. So 3 stators and 2. So for 3 stators, mixed with some AI AI limiters, plus 2 rotors equals 2 motors. So instead of making 1.5 motors with that recipe, I'd make 2. So the electromagnetic control rod is automatically better. But here's... Actually, I was about to say, man, the only thing I can see that's a problem with this, with the AI limiter recipe, is that it, no matter where I go with it, it's going to require a lot of caterium wire, or quick wire. So for the AI limiters, there's either 20, with some copper in the traditional recipe, 20 caterium wire for 1, or 30 for 2 that requires plastic. Now, I know I may be a little bit of a wuss when I say this, but I want to try to limit my petrochemical usage. And the reason is because I fear that it may be low. Although, with a building that's going to be up and coming, I think, honestly, I might have a really good, I might actually, you know, with a building that's going to refine plastic, I think I'm going to have a great amount of plastic and rubber to deal with. I've contemplated shutting down Gold Coast, the gold, oh my god, the thing goes out the map. And I might move the power plant over here. I might get less power, but there's absolutely a lot of stability. The only problem is, there's actually a little bit less oil over here than there is over here. However, I'm like, oh man, all the resources are right here, but I have calculated that if I use overclocked Mark III miners, I can get the sulfur from this, and then a normal node over here, that's all I need, and then there's a lot of coal here. So I could, as much as it sounds weird for me to backtrack, I might delete trains. The only problem with trains is that their throughput is very fluid. And what I mean by that is that it can vary greatly. You can have, like, garbage throughput, but you can have amazing throughput. Like, you already see that I need multiple trains to transport the materials from one end of the map to the other. I'm starting to think about something. This railroad is not straight at all, and it's crooked, but yet this plant still operates. If I could straighten out the tracks and reduce harsh grades, then perhaps I could vastly increase the amount of efficiency my trains can, you know, output. Let's see, so for 20, like, actually, let's do some more math, right? So we got, let's say you take traditional recipe. So, if we did the quick wire stator, let's see, so we need about 15 quick wire for 2 stators. So, let's say 15 plus 7.5 is about 22.5 quick wire to make the amount of stators. So we got 22.5 quick wire, plus if we even use like a traditional AI limiter, we have 20 for 1. So we're at 80 quick wire for like, let's see, so that's 40 plus 22.5, so that's about 62.5. 62.5 quick wire for 2 rods. And these electromagnetic control rods can be very crucial when it comes in the terms of building advanced level stuff. So get 62 control rods, electromagnetic control rod, or 62.5 quick wire. Okay. So at 62, we only need 1 for every 2 rotors. So 62 quick wire, divide that by 2, and that's like 31.75, I think? 31.25, close. So 31.25 quick wire for 2 motors. Would actually divide that by 2 again, if I'm not wrong. I need 15.6 quick wire per motor. If I... chat, I think I'm on to something. So I need 15 quick wire for 2 rotors. For 2 stators. But 2 stators only makes 1 motor with the traditional recipe. I think that recipe with the AI limiter consumes about an extra half quick wire, which doesn't sound like much, but honestly that will add up if we're not careful. So I think I might just use the traditional recipe, as bad as it is. And honestly, here's the thing. If I use the worst recipe in the game, I think honestly, from 1 pure coal node, 1 pure iron node, 1 pure deuterium node, and 1 pure copper node, and some water, I can make a staggering, estimated, like, 400 motors a minute. That's extremely high. Even for my needs. I mean, right now I make like 30 motors a minute right now. And this is why I'm building this refinery. The amount of extra resources I can get by refining like iron and copper and deuterium this way is going to drastically boost my factory's capacity and efficiency. You know how fixed it is about their efficiency. I gotta know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meters off the ground. Are they 4 meters apart from each other? Yes, they are. They are 4 meters apart. They are 4 meters apart from each other. Both of those tanks are. And are they nudged right against? I think they are nudged against it. So, let's see, like right here. And then that's on the ground. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there we go. All we gotta do for this tank is we just gotta snap it right here. 2, 3, 4, and boom. That is snapped where it needs to be. Use that ladder to line. Honestly, I have a great idea. I think the control center for this section... by the way, I might... we need about 6 tiles wide per section. Give me a second. I want to see how much I can do. I'm probably going to turn this into a copper refinery. So it looks like we're not able to put two 6 tile wide segments in here. Here's the great thing about copper. I think copper needs the least amount of water per refinery. So let's see, 20 to 35. Let's see if I can see if there's a difference. 20 to 35, 10 to 15. Let's see, that's about 1.5 water per ore. 1.5 ore per water. Yeah, this is versus 1.75 water per 1.75 ore per cubic meter of water. But this is the most intense, which means we need one water per ore. And because I actually might build a, I'm probably going to make like a capacity for like 2 pure nodes. One that's right here, obviously, and the other one that's like way over there. I might make that like a little mini extension right over here. Okay, let's say 7,200 quick wire versus divide by 60 times 8, and we get 960 statters a minute. It's a little bit annoying because that what do you call it? The statters a minute rate does not match the rotors a minute. It's actually 40. We need 40 more statters a minute. However, here's one thing I like about the stat. Why do I want the quick-wire recipe so much? Because the quick-wire statter recipe, because it uses 2 pipes per statter versus 3 pipes per statter. So 4 steel pipes to 2 statters versus 3 to 1. Uses less pipe. Let's see. I think quick-wire is the only thing you can do with like Caterium. Let's see. You can make fixed site ingots, which would probably be the only thing we can also do, and quick wire. Yeah. I'm watching a video called by Snap called "If Your School Uses E-Hall Pass, You Have Zero Rights." Seriously, they track how long you go to the bathroom. Listen, I wish I would have done this when I was like in, I wish I would have done this when I was in my high school. Here's the thing, I don't give a shit. Like, if I need to go to the goddamn restroom, I'm gonna go to the restroom. This is why I love college. I was like a little bit stressful at college because oh my god, it's gonna be too hard. But then now that I view college, it's so awesome. Like, dude, I can learn actual useful shit in college. when I used to go to high school, I went to high school for 35 hours a week. 35 hours a week for high school. And I go to college, let's see, at my most busiest semester, I think I went to college anywhere between about 8 to 12 hours a week. Almost a third. Anywhere around a third of the amount of school time as versus the high school. And I remember a lot of shit I've learned at college. I can tell you right now how to wire a 3-phase motor for high voltage. Line 1 needs to connect to terminal 1. Line 2 needs to connect to terminal 2. Line 3 needs to connect to terminal 3. Terminal 4, 5, and 6 need to be connected together. Terminal 1 needs to be connected to terminal 7. Terminal 2 needs to be connected to terminal 8. And terminal 3 should be connected to terminal 9. There we go. I just told you how to wire a 3-phase high voltage motor setup. You want to know what I learned in high school? If the president dies, who becomes next? Okay, vice president. Okay, if he dies, who becomes president? And all I know is STD, which means State Treasury Department, and that's all I know. Because if the president dies in my country, they pick from the cabinet in a descending order. For example, if Trump was killed, or if he dies, Vance takes office. Vice. That's how America works, or whatever. But, other than that, I don't remember the chain of command, or the chain of succession. Yeah, so, anyway, that was from Gov Civ class. I hated that class. Plus, the teacher was a bit weird, let's just say that. But I literally don't care about what anybody says. I find it shocking, now that I look back on it, that you have to ask to go to the restroom in a school. And you wanna know what I like about college? Not only do you learn a lot more of what you actually need to actually survive in this world, but here's the thing about college I love. You can walk out of the class all you want. And the teacher, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit if you even roll in, because they know that the only person you're gonna hurt from doing that is yourself. So as long as you're fine with the consequences, you can almost do essentially what you want. Like you could leave class, for most part, use your devices. You can do whatever you want. And they don't give a shit. And that's awesome. I'm actually treated like an adult, not like a freaking child. It's like, brother, I'm 20 years old, and when I went into college I was 18. I'm 18 at the time. I can drive a car, I can use a gun safely and legally, but you can't trust... when I was in high school, I could literally load, shoot, and maintain firearms. And at the end of high school, I could drive. You're telling me I could do all this shit, but I have to ask permission to go to the bathroom? Really? No. And again, I agree with this one guy that was talking about, school bathroom rules. And I hate when they're like, oh, lunch just ate. Well, guess what, buddy? It's called I need to digest, dummy. But yeah, that really pissed me off. There was this one teacher I really liked, but the only thing I didn't like that what she did is that we were doing this, it was like this simulator, life simulator type thing. And she made it where you have to buy hall room passes, and my class bully was in that class, and his stupid ass would always use up all the passes with 3 other people. They'd use up, not all of them, but 3/4 of the passes just to go hang out in the bathroom like a bunch of dipshits. What the hell? You can actually merge them together? But another thing I really hated about high school is that when you had so many cool privileges and one jackass would ruin it for absolutely everybody, and everybody would have to suffer because some idiot did it. Like, apparently, before I went to go into school, at the high school I used to go to, we used to actually be able to go down the street and go get Pizza Hut. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't want to be, no offense, but, if you live in, like, central Illinois, Monocle's is, like, a lot better. I've had both, Pizza Hut and Monocle's. Monocle's blows it out of the water. You get a nice little 8-inch cheese pizza, a Pepsi, and 5 breadsticks for about 18 bucks. It's a little bit expensive, but my God, you are paying good money for them breadsticks. Scrumptious. And people used to go and use that time to run away from school, and now they don't do it anymore. Fun. Again, you can't convince me that the most annoying part of school is when some jackass has to ruin everything. Everything. For somebody. Bruh. Like, again, my most annoying middle school story, I would say, is I used to go to middle school. I know, shocker, I have education and I'm American. Yeah, I know. Anyway, I used to go to middle school, right? And now, I was in my 8th grade, and my 8th grade is awesome. So when you're in 5th and 10th grade, you go to this, like, circular part of the school, and it's very confusing when you first go there. I was late to my classes for, like, the first 2 weeks every once in a while. Because the school, like, it was circular. And the layout was very confusing, but they kind of, like, let me slide. But then, okay, right, and then after that, how my old middle school was, you had a circular library, and you had an hourglass, like or like a lava lamp shaped part. In the middle has bathrooms and some classrooms, and the edge is just lockers, and it goes into a cafeteria. And to the east of that is our gym, and then to the west of that was a long hallway that would go down. It branched to the left to the 7th grade hallway, and then after that, finally after that, it would, what do you call it? It would then go forward more, and it would go to the 8th grade hallway. And here's the great thing about being in 8th grade: the bathrooms and the classrooms were literally within, like, the size of 2 decently sized American houses put together. Like, you could literally walk out into the hallway, and the bathroom's literally, like, 5 seconds away. I'm not even trying to, like, joke, say, oh, it's like, no, it was literally 5 seconds away. In fact, some of the classrooms were even right next to the bathrooms, right? Well, hello, viewer. Well, it was all fine in time until some little dick kid, and speaking of dick, he went in and drew a bunch of phalluses all over the mirrors and got it closed, and we had to take, like, 2 minutes to walk down. Because, oh, why don't you just run? Oh, no running in the hallways. Can't run in the hallways. So we had to waste a minute to get there, another minute to do our business, and another minute to get back without being late. I think they even did it for the girls. Like, even though it was a boys' bathroom that got griefed, I think even the girls were not allowed to go to the bathroom in the 8th grade part. We all had to go down the 7th grade bathrooms, which were close to the cafeteria, and that was a pain in the ass. But my best school story was the time I was sitting in a history class. And by the way, I used to have a bunch of friends on PlayStation Network. We'd always hang out every once in a while. Well, we were talking about Devious Lick. Like, oh, Devious Lick. What is that? Oh, people are going to school destroying shit. I'm like, well, that's dumb. Dumbasses. Anyway, I forget about the conversation, go to school, sit in the history class. Fire alarm goes off. Now, I'm autistic. I hate fire alarms. They suck. They're really, really loud. And not just loud, but they're unexpected. Like, I hate when it's just like, and then fire alarm went off, and I kind of shrugged it to the side. We all did our thing. The fire alarm had gone off 1 or 2 more times because the building's like 105 years old. 120, I think, plus. Well, we go in, we go back. And while we're going back, I heard somebody that, rumors of somebody destroying something. Well, anyway, I continue with my day. I get called down to the office. I'm like, oh god, what is it? Because I'm infamous for getting in trouble at school. Not as much in my latter years of high school. There was some rough patches where this teacher was basically power tripping over me, but we're cool now. But anyway, so I go down to the assistant principals, and they're like, hey, we found that you had good behavior, so we're gonna give you a candy bar. I'm like, yay, thank you. Well, as I go into the office, I see this one random kid, the school police officer, the assistant, and the principal and vice principal, and some dude's parents go into the assistant principal's office. I'm like, oh shit. Well, it turns out that dude decided to do the devious lick challenge. He dislodged a urinal pipe, which if I had to guess, it had to be the feed pipe. Some people are like, oh, it's a drain or the whatever pipe. I think it's the feed pipe because it was doing water. If it was the drain pipe, it would be draining backed up water, which if it was, ugh, backed up high school bathroom water, yucky. Some jackass dislodged the pipe to a urinal, and it flooded the bathroom and eventually seeped down somehow, and it hit a fire alarm and shorted it and caused the fire alarms to go off. This guy caused $6,000 in damage. Oh, and guess what? It gets better. Because I did some research a couple years after the incident. That, I'm pretty sure, is a felony. Because, if you don't know, that's private. That's destroying school property in Illinois is a felony. So that kid not only just got hit with a several $1,000 fine, he got hit by a felony. Now, kiddos, let me tell you this. That bitch is gonna stick on your record. Oh, whatever, it's felony. Oh, guess what, buddy? When your employer goes to hire, they're gonna be like, oh, hey, you got a felony on your record. Kinda sus. And let me tell you, chat, the cleaner your record of work, the cleaner your criminal record is, the better you are at life. The better you have a chance of getting hired. That guy basically got, caused $6,000 of damage and committed a felony for TikTok fame. You know what's funny, but also kind of sad? Nobody talks about Devious Lick anymore. Except for me, essentially. Nobody even will remember that TikTok clip. And that felt... How long do you... Let's see. What are the legal punishments for destroying... Let's see, in Illinois. Let's see, years of imprisonment, substantial fines up to $25,000, and mandatory restitution. Can range from Class A misdemeanors to Class 1 felony. How long does a Class 1 felony stay on your record? Forever, unless it is sealed. So now, unless a judge, let's see, it is sealed or expunged. Unless a judge seals or expunges his criminal record or that felony, it will stay on his record for until he dies. So you have a felony for the stupidest shit, and it's gonna stick to him for as long as he walks this earth. Absolute L moment right there. A felony that sticks forever on your your criminal history, and nobody's even gonna remember the action of what you did. That's pathetic. And that is karma right there. Like, dude, I get it. School can be a pain in the ass, but one thing I don't do is destroy it. Like, come on, dude. Here's the thing. If you hate school, just shut up, listen, and then get your diploma and piss off. Just get it over with. If you just lock in, you'll get out. But honestly, I said, if that were my kid, I would take everything out of his room, or her room. It was him. But if that was my kid, I'd take everything out of his room except for a mattress. I'd rip his door off. Like, nope. And then after that, I'd probably have to, if they had a gaming console, I'd take it out back and shoot it. Like, nope, Timmy, you committed a class 1 felony. Time to lose your Xbox. Bye-bye. Oh my god. Can you imagine being the parents of that kid, getting a phone call that their kid just basically committed a class 1 felony at the worst? And misdemeanor at the minimum, which still, that's not good. You don't want a misdemeanor on your record, my friends. Like, by the way, I'm not advocating for crime, but you couldn't have gotten, you know, legal trouble for like breaking into a puppy shop and stealing a puppy. I mean, that's cool, man. Like, you get a puppy, you get a forever friend after you steal it, but no, you decide to break a urinal. And by the way, can I just express how stupid Devious Lick was? Again, I'm not advocating for committing crimes. You could have stolen so much shit. Like, you could have stolen anything. And these people decided to steal toilets. You stole a literal petri dish of human feces, barf, vomit, and you know what. Like, you really want to bring that to your house? Hell no. Hey man, it sucked, because I remember schools, I don't think it happened in my school, but, people were getting banned from the restrooms because of Devious Lick. That was so stupid. Those stupid TikTok idiots ruin everything for everyone. Let's see. If it, let's see, $501 to $1,000. Actually, that could be a class 3 felony with 2 to 5 years of prison, up to $25,000. 2 to 5 years of prison. So if he, I mean, I don't know if it's like for like juveniles versus adults, but if he was tried in the way I just described, he could be facing 2 to 5 years of prison. Imagine going to prison. You have actual murderers and thieves there, and you say, I destroyed a school restroom. That's some lame shit, dude. That's how you become someone's prison bitch. By the way, I've toured the jail of my county, and let me just tell you, man, it ain't fun. Ugh. The reason I can't ever survive in jail is not because I'd get my ass whooped. Not just that, but I couldn't eat the food there. I mean, it's nasty. But I've actually been to a jail to tour it, and the food there looks just like our lunch food, which is kind of ironic now when you really think about it. But yeah, that's one thing I really hated about quote-unquote challenges. It's like, Devious Lick Challenge. Man, it's so challenging to, you know, destroy public property. Man, so challenging. It's so hard. Devious Lick Challenge. Translation. Commit Class 1 to Class 3 felonies. Let me go get my charger so I can start charging my iPad before I go to school. I have to leave by about 5. I probably might leave about 4, which is about an hour 20 minutes, because it is very shitty outside, and because yeah, it's still going shitty. But yeah, I'm looking at a video about like hall passes. Apparently, some people are using them to track when oh. Give me a second, Chad. My stupid ass headset's backing up. Actually, I have a great idea. Give me a second, chat. I need to diagnose my cord. I'm gonna plug it into a kilowatt and see how many watts it pulls. Because I'm feeling some heat, and that could be resistance. Is this a live cord? Please tell me it's live. Can't see it. I don't think it's live. Give me a second, chat. I'm gonna do a experiment and see if this cord I have is dead. Because here's what I like to do. If it pumps extra wattage through the wire, then that must mean that there is either a short or the wire is not going to get out. Okay, plug in my iPad. That's bad right there. Holy shit. That's bad. Oh boy. I don't think I need to use that cord anymore. The wattage went from like 0.7 to 5 to 20 watts to 15. It fluctuated heavily. Let's see, is it wattage fluctuating on the charge cable bad? If constant and dramatic. Yeah. No, I can't use that cord anymore. Here's the thing. Imagine, here's how the power should flow into your phone. Smooth. It keeps going like this. Like this. That's like taking your chair, someone taking your chair and like going like it's supposed to do like this, right? Rock back and forth. But what the wattage is doing, going like that. That fluctuation in wattage probably is going to kill my iPad. Holy shit. Give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm going to go test another cable. I'm sorry. I just got to make sure my watt meter is correct. I get it, guys. I'm smart. I'm very smart. I cracked the code. It's my power charger. My power charger was killing my iPad. This iPad probably didn't need to be purchased, but you know what? Here's the thing. My wattage of my other Apple iPad. I'm just gonna charge. Yeah. Wait a second, chat. I need to do something. That outlet has to be plugged in somewhere, or is that a different port? Damn it. The cord is being weird. I'm gonna test, give me a second, I'm gonna test this on my other outlet. No, actually, that's a good idea. Take the, another cord and test it on the same outlet. Actually, I'm gonna go upstairs where I can use the same outlet to test. cord's done. I've now made my own conclusion. The failure is a result from a failed charging cord. I'm so glad I'm smart. Failed charging cord. If you ever have a charge cord and it keeps charging on and off, throw it away. It'll destroy your charging port. And battery over time. You know, so I should definitely probably consider doing diagnostic tests on my cords over time. So here's how I discovered it. This is a kilowatt, not sponsored. You can buy one of these for about $20 to $30. It's really awesome. You can tell how many watts your electronics consume. It's very cool. I used to have, they had these at my school, so I decided to buy one of my own for myself. And I discovered that that cord, the wattage, was jumping up and around and fluctuating, going up and down rapidly. And also, I was discovering heat on the cord. Here's why. When you put the same amount of electricity through a smaller cord, you will have a lot less or a lot more friction against the electricity in its conductor, causing a heat buildup. I go back upstairs telling parents. Tell my parents this stuff. Yep, there it is. I finally troubleshot what's been going on with my iPad. A possible charging port degradation caused by a faulty charge cable. Recommended action: full replacement of charge cable. That sucks. I have to see my 2-meter charge cord die finally. But hey, you know what? I got good years out of that bastard. Oh, that sucks. I've lost my 2-meter charge cord. I might consider having to go into Best Buy early to go get a fresh, brand new charge cord. Instead, I searched it up. Yes, using a charge cord that turns off and off randomly, intermittent charging can damage or destroy your device's charge port and battery over time. While it may not cause instant destruction, the constant connecting and disconnecting forces your device to repeatedly handshake with the charger, which can lead to overheating, component wear, and eventual failure. Yeah, I've heard that, well, there's these, like, little fans that you can plug in your USB port, and they're bad because with the motor inside them, it has constantly changing voltage and shit, and it just destroys your charger port over time. You want a nice, steady wattage. It's okay for it to kind of peak up like this, but it kept going like this, fluctuating over and over. And when it fluctuates like that, over and over and over, that is a charge port killer. Because I was feeling some heating going on in my my iPad's charger cable, and immediately when I felt that heat, I immediately knew, yeah, that's bad. The charger block, I've diagnosed it. I'm using it right now. The charger block seems to be pretty good and intact, but the charge cable I've used is faulty and needs to be disposed. So I theoretically could have almost just destroyed my new iPad's charge port or even battery just from using my charge cord. And the charge cord is about probably like 3 years old. I'm satisfied. It lasted a pretty good amount of time. Sucks to have to get rid of it, but I have to go to Best Buy. I'll probably plan on doing that before I go to school and go get another one. Bruh, there's a new thing called e-hall pass for schools, where essentially you go in, you take your hall pass, it tracks how long you're at the bathroom. That's creepy, dude. Okay, I want you to imagine this, right? Let me let you imagine this, right? I'm gonna tell you, I have an idea. I'm gonna use a app that tracks how long students in high schools and middle schools go to the bathroom. If I told that on my stream and I was being like like legitimate. Like I was legitimately bringing it up as an idea. You guys would call me a predator. You guys would call me a freaking child predator. That's kind of weird that you get to see how long people, like middle schoolers and high schoolers, are going to the bathroom. But it just happens. It just happens normally, I guess, with the use of e-hall pass, which is really creepy, I have to add. That's some Diddy shit, brother. So apparently, okay, so this e-hall passing I'm looking at, it requires you to submit a request to go to the bathroom. Or, ready for this? I have a better idea. A radical idea. Do not call me a radical extremist. I have a better idea. Hey teacher, can I use the restroom please? Look how quick that was. I know, scary, right? Imagine having to submit a request to take a shit. Hell no, brother. If I did that and they said nope, I'd be like, okay, listen up here, teacher's name. Either you let me go to the bathroom, or what's gonna happen, I'm gonna drop my trousers, Eric Cartman style, and shit on your desk. Like, I will do this, no balls. Oh my god, AI detection. It says apparently it can detect when students have, you know, get really near to different locations to like encourage probably breaking up, like what do you call it? Like breaking up like social interactions. My god, that is so creepy. Dude. I'm not like I'm just gonna let you guys know I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it's so funny when, you know, there's one thing I kind of agree with some conspiracy theorists, right? They're like, oh, we're gonna enter massive raids. Like a couple years ago, you're like, okay, whatever. But now it's like, holy shit, we are entering a state of mass surveillance. And before you're like, okay, you're a conspiracy theorist now. Literally, there are AI cameras that I have physically witnessed. I have seen these cameras, like the flock cameras. They're everywhere where I live. It is a growing presence and a cancer among society that we are just mass surveyed, and people are just like, whatever. Average company, average Tuesday. And by the way, let me just bring out this fact. Like things like Go Guardian or e-hall pass. How much money is this costing our schools? How much wasted money is this costing our schools? What could they do with all the other you know what's awesome? I will say my high school, as much as there were kind of some things I didn't like about it, like how the fact that I, zero tolerance was kind of bullshit. Like if you were bullied and you tried to defend yourself, like you were just gonna get shit on. at least they spent things like new turfs. They upgraded their parking lot. They are renovating. Like they're actually making the place look better, versus the other schools where they buy all this expensive technology to survey their students. I'm going back to my high school in about most of the days of next week. So we'll see what's going on in my high school. If it got better, got worse, you know. Yeah. And by the way, like it's embarrassing. Now I'm starting to think about it. It's embarrassing how we've come to a point where you have to literally sign up for an AI spying service just to go to the bathroom. Like, excuse me, my parents pay you shit tons of money to enroll at the school, and I have to drag my sorry ass there. I have to wake my ass up at like 7 in the morning. You get to keep me almost all day until the late afternoon. And you want me to ask for your permission to perform a bodily function? F off. I didn't really have, at my school, I didn't have too many teachers that were like a pain in the ass about, you know, asking to go to the restroom. Thank goodness, because oh man, I couldn't. I get pissed. Yeah, I agree with this one guy. Like, that's kind of weird. Like, if I literally, like, I'm watching a video about E-Hall Pass, if anybody tunes in. If I literally came up with the idea, and if I literally told my chat, hey, what if we built a service that tracks when middle school and high schoolers go to the restroom? That, you know, that way we could tell if their time's lost. A lot of people would say, yeah, that's pretty creepy. If I literally came up with the idea, which I'm not, because I'm not a creep like these bastard companies are, you would say, yeah, you're a creep. You're kind of weird, brother. And I'd be like, yeah, I kind of agree. That is kind of weird. But I guess it's just the norm of society. Ugh. Like, here's my opinion how society should work. I think